the Manoir was then under attack by the 505, A Company of the 505, whose job it was to capture the seize and hold the eastern approach to the causeway across the Merdere River to the churchyard on the western side of the crossing. As we approached a cattle gate, which is to say 3 logs across an open area at the southeast corner of the Manoir, a machine gun opened up. And we all hit the ground and reached for a grenade at the same time. And we were about perhaps 30 yards away from the machine gun. And how come he didn't kill us all, it's hard to explain. We all got out grenades and threw the grenades at this gun emplacement by the cattle gate, and 2 Germans came up out of there. The opening blast of their machine gun had hit 2 of our people, and Private Escobar and Corporal Lawton. And as these 2 Germans jumped up, Escobar mistook them for wanting to continue the attack, and he rolled over with his Tommy gun and killed the 2 Germans. We stopped our movement at that point to get our wounded back to where Schwarzwalder had the main body of our group. And it was at that time, as we were moving back toward Schwarzwalder, that I ran into Red Dolan, who was commander of A Company of the 505. And that's where I had learned that McGinty, whom I had known, Major McGinty of the 1st Battalion of the 505, had been killed just prior to our movement up there. And so we got on back to Schwarzwalder's group, got the 2 wounded people taken care of, or got them evacuated back to safety. And Colonel Lindquist showed up in the field behind us. And it had been our understanding, or at least this was the prevailing thought, that Lindquist is going down the railroad with all of his, a whole host of his regiment was headed to Chef DuPont. But he came up in that field, and he was talking with Schwarzwalder when General Ridgway showed up in the field. And General Ridgway said to Lindquist, I want that bridge down there, and I want it right away. Lindquist turned around, and Red Dolan had come up from the attack on A Company, apparently thinking that all the man war was pretty well under control. So we had a representative of the 505 and Schwarzwalder representing the 507, and Lindquist himself representing the 508. He turned and gave one of the shortest field orders I've ever experienced in my life. He said, the 505, you go down the right. 507, you go down the left. And the 508's going to go down the center. Move out. And that was how the attack was formulated for the Manoir. Well, we had to go back down around where we had knocked that machine gun out. And Schwarzwalder had placed me in the advance party again. And so I put 2 scouts out, and we went around the south side of the Manoir, and then we had knocked out the only resistance on the south side of the Manoir already. So we went around the south side while the Manoir was under fire by the 505 and the 508, and it was a very short, noisy battle, and they took the Manoir. There weren't that many Germans in there. The Manoir, the wall around the Manoir, was very close to the bridge, and so we had come around there and come to the road at the junction of a small wall that ran around the southwest corner of the Manoir, and so we were waiting for further direction. And Schwarzwalder had been called to go see Lindquist, who was then on the grounds of the Manoir. And he came back, and he indicated to me that he wanted me to go on across the bridge and go to the other side. And so, and he indicated to me also that the 508 people under Lindquist's command was going to follow up. So I put out 2 scouts, and off we started westward across the causeway. And I had 2 scouts. One name was John Ward, and the other one was Jim Mattingly. And Ward was in the lead, and he crossed over the bridge and was about 100 yards down the roadway along the causeway. And Mattingly crossed the bridge, and I had gotten to the bridge behind Mattingly when a German rose up out of a machine gun emplacement on the north side of the causeway and took aim at Mattingly, who saw the movement out of the corner of his eye and whirled and fired his gun, fired his M1 rifle, emptied the clip, fired about 8 rounds. I believe a clip was 8 rounds.